Everybody has a story, and their story is unique to them. You may often have listened to the stories of your friends and family. For example, you may have listened to the stories of your grandparents and their stories of how they may have lived through the Great Depression or the war. Learning from these stories gives you the opportunity to learn something, and this is called oral history. This gives you the chance to learn something that you wouldn't normally get from a textbook or historical video. EKA also has a story. Unfortunately, the only version of that story that we ever get to hear is from teachers and staff who have been here for a long time. But that's only half of the story. The other half of the story is the student experience. To get the full story, you need to hear them from the graduates themselves, and that is why I chose to do this project on reuniting EKA. This project initially had two requirements: to create a database of the graduates and also hold the school's first ever high school reunion. I chose to split this between 2 semesters. First semester, I would focus on creating the database and getting in contact with the graduates, and second semester, I would focus on the reunion. Something that I did that I really recommend to anybody, regardless of whether or not you are going to be a senior, but just in life, to keep a calendar, because that's what I did. And it really kept me on track with things I had to do each month. So, first semester. I have no idea how to put on a big event, let alone what goes on at a high school reunion. So to remedy that, I reached out to Las Vegas High School, and I was able to attend their Wildcat reunion. This reunion was for all the graduates from that high school, but mainly focused on the graduates from the 1950s and 60s. I was able to learn so much from this event, what goes on in a reunion and what it is like, and I was able to learn from it. This reunion, they had their current students come to the reunion. They had their cheer, they had the dance, they had their marching band, and I thought, how cool was that they had their current students come and mix with the graduates, and that's what I wanted for mine. My first step was to get in contact with the graduates. So to do this, I created an alumni survey that asked about their current contact information, if they would like to be involved in the school, and if they went on to any post-secondary education. From this information, I created a database that was organized by class year, so it was all in one central location. My next challenge was, how am I going to get in contact with them? Through Mr. Bolton, he created a Reunion at EK Academy email address, which I used to communicate with them. But I wanted a more interactive and social way, so we created the Facebook alumni group, which went live about the beginning of November. And when it went live, it was such a great experience for me, because up until then, I didn't see the effects that my project was having, and people started posting photos of their old classes and graduation and leaving words of encouragement, and it really gave me the feeling that I was doing something right. I wanted to get on a more intimate level with the graduates, so what I did was that I wanted to showcase EK graduates and their accomplishments and milestones since graduation. 2 of these spotlights that I would like to highlight is the first one on the 4 EK graduates that now work here at the school. And the second is we have 2 current students that are children of 2 former EK graduates. And to be able to meet these students and staff was really rewarding for me. Second semester rolled around, and at this point, I'm still continuing the spotlights, only now they're on an individual basis. I was able to fill my volunteer hours at UNLV's Student Union and Event Services. I was able to learn how to put on a big event, the paperwork that goes behind it, and the actual setting up of the event. I got to see how the teams work together, how catering works with setup, and how setup works with audiovisual, and just to be able to see all that was really amazing. This is one of the events that I attended. It was by far my favorite. This is the College of Fine Arts Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and it was my favorite because the room was so beautifully set up and everybody was having a really nice time. At this point in the semester, I wasn't able to reach all the graduates, so I continued my efforts to reach them by creating a wanted poster that listed all the people I was missing and their class years, and I was able to get in contact with quite a few of them. Being able to involve graduates within the school is something that I really wanted. And to do this, I created a flyer that lists tasks that in both elementary and secondary that graduates could do. For example, in elementary, they could be involved by reading to a classroom, or in secondary, helping with seniors and juniors in their senior projects. Something that happened that wasn't a direct result of my project, we had 2 former students come to the school to fulfill their student teaching hours. One of them is Ms. Lauren Lesniak. Many of you may have known her, and just her having here was a realization for my project that something was actually happening. All semester, I was working on preparing for the reunion. I focused on the task, like I wanted to create these block numbers, and I covered them with all the photos that were posted on the Facebook page, and it served as a sort of memory lane for them at the reunion. When the graduates came to the reunion, we gave them a gift bag, which was a tote bag that had the alumni and the school logo, and they were really cute. And inside them, they had little school knickknacks, and they had these felt monsters. If you've ever been in Ms. Chapman's art class or seminar, or even if you've seen them at the Holiday Bazaar, these felt monsters are made by students, and they have that individuality with them. And that was the way I included the current students of EKA in my reunion. I also focused on tasks like creating photo props and making the centerpieces. The reunion was held here at the school on April 13th, and it was at this point in my whole senior project that everything really came together. It gave the chance for graduates to reunite with everybody and to catch up, and getting able to hear all their stories really meant so much to me. This project had its initial 2 requirements, the database and the reunion. But I really wanted to make this project my own, and so I took it one step further. A way for me to leave my legacy here on EKA, as well as involve graduates within the school, is I created a handprint mural. The purpose of this mural is that it's a tree, and instead of leaves, there are handprints. And at the reunion, the graduates will be able to sign their name with their handprint. And I created a video for you guys to see the process of all the work that went into it, for you to see from beginning to end. This mural isn't only for graduates, it's for you as a student body. My aim for this canvas is that as each class graduates, they'll be able to choose their own class color and add their own handprints to the tree. So it shows that EK is continually growing and branching out as a school. Now, even though this project was very rewarding for me, it didn't come without its challenges. In the beginning of the school year, I was dealing with some very emotional and difficult struggles and with a certain graduate, and it made doing the senior project that dealt entirely with graduates impossible to think of starting or even continuing. But I was able to overcome those issues, and I threw my heart and soul into this project, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I also had difficulties reaching grads and communicating with them. The school has about 148 graduates since the first class in 2005 to the most recent of 2017, and I was only able to reach about half of them, including email and Facebook. And when I did post stuff, and those that I did have, I didn't often get any responses, and it was very disheartening for me. The next issue was reunion ticket sales. The reunion was originally scheduled to be held at Dragon Ridge Country Club, which is a very nice venue. But because it's so nice, the ticket sales had to be a little bit pricier. And because of this, not many were able to attend. So 2 weeks before, we had to change the venue to having it here at the school. But I think that is what the reunion needed, because the EKA today is very different from the one before. It was in a strip mall, it was on several different campuses, it was a mess. And having the graduates be able to come here and see how much EKA has changed, how it's all on one campus, we have elementary, we have the pods, we have this lunchroom, we have this mural on the back wall. For them to be able to see that, I think that's what really the reunion needed. The next challenge for me was the mural design and completion. There was so much thought and time and effort that went into planning that, and if you're artistic, and even if you're not, if you've ever looked at a sheet of paper and be like, where do I start? That's exactly how I felt. Only now I had 3 canvases of it, and it was huge. But with all the work that I went into it and staying after school and coming in on Mondays, I'm very happy with how well it turned out. And the last challenge for me is the graduates as a focus group. All the other seniors here today, their focus group is you guys as students. They can come up to you and be like, hey, will you come to my club after school on Thursdays? Or will you dress up for work at Wednesdays? And I couldn't do that. My focus group are the graduates, and they're no longer here. So I didn't get very much support or anything like that. And it was very, very disheartening for me. But at the reunion, I got so many people to come up to me and tell me their stories of what EK means to them. And that really made up for everything that I felt thus far. My legacy that I'm leaving here on EKA is that I did the first senior project to impact graduates. And I created a database for administration that has information from all the graduates in one central organized location, and that they can be continued added to as each class graduates. And the continuation of this handprint mural is for you guys as students to leave your legacies here on EKA. I would like to thank Mr. Quinn for being my advisor for all 4 years, for helping me grow as a person, and for everything that you've done for me. I'm so grateful for you. The next person I would like to thank is Ms. Matson for trusting me with this baby project of hers and allowing me to run with it, and for everything that she's done for making this reunion a reality. I'm so grateful for you. The next person I would like to thank is Mr. Jesus for building the canvas frame, helping me stretch it, and putting it up on the wall, because without him, this essential part of my project wouldn't have been possible. And lastly, I would like to thank Ms. Chapman for always coming to me with ideas, for being willing to help, even though she had so many things other to do. And I'm just like, words cannot describe how grateful I am for her. Each one of you has a story that is unique as your handprint. And I hope that when your time comes to graduate, you'll be able to leave your legacy, your story, here on AKA. Thank you.